Ever watched Love is Blind and thought, wow, that person is the worst? Well, you're not alone. We have rounded up the 5 most cringeworthy contestants that had us yelling at our screens. From Arena's mean girl antics to Shake's shallow comments, these folks took blind love and made it just blind awful. Picture this. You are sitting in a pod, trying to find your soulmate without seeing them. Sounds romantic, right? Well, not when you have got people like Carlton hiding secrets or Shayna chasing after someone else's man. That's Love is Blind for you. A show where singles date through a wall and somehow end up in total chaos. Now, let's talk about our not-so-fabulous 5. We have got mean girls, manipulators, and folks who clearly didn't read the show's title. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be wondering how these people even made it onto TV. Ready for some serious second-hand embarrassment? Let's go! Remember high school? Well, Arena and Shayna sure do. They brought all that petty drama to Love is Blind, making us wonder if they ever grew up. How did these two manage to turn a show about finding true love into a teenage soap opera? Let's start with Irina Solomonova, the queen bee of season 4. This girl took mean to a whole new level. She wasn't just looking for love. She was on a mission to make everyone else miserable. Picture this. Irina's sitting there, laughing at other women who are upset about their dates. Like, seriously? Who does that? But wait, it gets worse. Irina decided to team up with Micah, forming what can only be described as the toxic friendship from hell. These two were less interested in finding their soulmates and more focused on stirring up drama. It's like they forgot they were on a dating show and thought they would sign up for Mean Girls, the reality series. Now, let's talk about Irina's relationship with Zach. She somehow convinced this poor guy to choose her over Bliss. But once they got to Mexico, oh boy, Irina made it crystal clear she wasn't into Zach physically. She even said he gave her the ick. Ouch. Talk about a vacation from hell. But don't worry, folks. Irina's not the only one who brought the drama. Enter Shayna Hurley from season 2. This girl took the concept of a love triangle and turned it into a love obstacle course. Shayna got engaged to Kyle, but couldn't stop making eyes at Shane. The problem? Shane was already with Natalie. Did that stop Shayna? No. She kept pursuing Shane even after he chose Natalie. It's like she thought Love is Blind meant love is blind to other people's relationships. Shayna insisted she and Shane were just friends, but Natalie wasn't buying it. Can you blame her? So, what do Irina and Shayna have in common? They both seem to think Love is Blind was their personal playground for manipulation. Irina used Zach to get on the show, then dumped him when she didn't like what she saw. Shayna strung Kyle along while she tried to steal Shane. It's like they misread the show description and thought it said, love is a game. But here's the real question. Were these two actually looking for love? Or were they just there for the drama? Because, let's be honest, it brought more drama than a Shakespeare festival. Irina's mean girl act and Shayna's not-so-subtle pursuits have taken men made for great TV, but terrible dating strategies. It's almost like they forgot the whole point of the show. Love is Blind is supposed to be about forming deep connections without seeing the other person. But Irina and Shayna seemed more interested in what they could see and manipulate right in front of them. So, what can we learn from Irina and Shayna? Well, for starters, maybe don't treat a dating show like it's high school. And if you are not actually interested in finding love, maybe don't go on a show called Love is Blind. Just a thought. Just when you thought you would see it all on Love is Blind, along came Carlton and Shake. These two managed to turn the show's concept completely upside down. How do you mess up so badly on a show with such a simple premise? Well, buckle up, because we are about to dive into the wild world of Carlton Morton and Shake Chatterjee. Let's start with Carlton from season 1. This guy took the concept of blind love and twisted it into selective blindness. Carlton decided it was a great idea to wait until after he proposed to Diamond to reveal he was bisexual. Talk about dropping a bombshell. It's like he thought the show was called Love is Blind, until it's not. Picture this. You're Diamond. You have just gotten engaged to a guy you have never seen, and suddenly he's like, oh, by the way, I am bisexual. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being bisexual, but there's everything wrong with hiding a major part of your identity, until after you have put a ring on it. It's like ordering a pizza, then finding out it's actually a salad. Not cool, Carlton. Diamond, understandably, needed some time to process this information, but Carlton, he decided the best response was to throw a tantrum that would make a toddler proud. He actually threw the engagement ring into the pool. Because nothing says, I am a mature adult, ready for marriage like chucking jewelry into bodies of water, right? But wait, it gets better. Enter Sheikh Chatterjee from Season 2, the guy who apparently thought Love is Blind was just a catchy title. Not the whole point of the show. Sheikh couldn't stop talking about physical attraction. It's like he signed up for Love is Blind, but showed up to film Hot or Not. Sheikh kept saying he wasn't physically attracted to Deepti, his fiancée. He even compared being with her to being with his aunt. Yikes. Imagine going on a show about emotional connections and then complaining about not being physically attracted to someone. It's like joining a book club and then whining that there's too much reading. The cherry on top of Sheikh's cringe Sunday. He didn't even have the decency to keep his shallow comments to himself. No, he broadcast them to anyone who would listen. It's like he was auditioning for the role of most inconsiderate contestant and decided to really commit to the part. Deepti, bless her heart, decided she deserved better and chose not to marry Sheikh at the altar. It was a moment that had viewers cheering, and Sheikh probably wondering why everyone was so upset. After all, he was just being honest, right? Wrong, Sheikh. So wrong. But here's the real kicker. Both Carlton and Sheikh seemed genuinely surprised when things didn't work out. It's like they were playing a completely different game than everyone else. While other contestants were trying to form deep emotional connections, these two were busy sabotaging their own relationships. Carlton's emotional outbursts and Sheikh's shallow remarks didn't just ruin their own chances at love. They also managed to make themselves two of the most disliked contestants in the show's history. It's almost impressive how spectacularly they missed the point of Love is Blind. So, what can we learn from Carlton and Sheikh? Well, for starters, maybe don't hide major parts of your identity until after you are engaged. And if you are more interested in looks than personality, maybe don't go on a show that's literally designed to prioritize emotional connections over physical attraction. Alright, if you thought Carlton and Sheikh were the worst Love is Blind had to offer, think again. We have got a trio of troublemakers who took the cake when it came to bad behavior. These three contestants managed to turn potentially good relationships into total disasters faster than you can say I don't. So, who are these love blind disasters? Let's start with Matt from Season 3. This guy brought more red flags than a communist parade. Matt's jealousy and temper had everyone on edge. At one point, he even threatened to leave when his fiancée Colleen went out with other women. Talk about controlling. It's like he thought Love is Blind meant love is possessive. But the real kicker? During the reunion episode, viewers couldn't help but notice how uncomfortable Colleen seemed around Matt. Her body language was screaming, "Help me," while they both insisted everything was just peachy. Yeah, sure, and I am the Queen of England. Moving on to Jackie from Season 4. This girl went from promising to yikes. Faster than you could swipe left on a dating app. She started off strong with Marshall, but things quickly turned toxic. After a series of fights that would make even Jerry Springer cringe, Jackie blindsided Marshall by breaking off their engagement. Why? Oh, just to pursue a relationship with another contestant, Josh. Classy, right? Jackie's treatment of Marshall was so bad, it made her one of the most disliked contestants from Season 4. She couldn't even communicate openly with the poor guy, instead opting to belittle his character. When called out on her behavior, Jackie claimed that editing misrepresented her timeline with Josh. Sure, blame it on the editors. That always works. Last but certainly not least, we have Barts from Season 3. This guy took stringing someone along to a whole new level. He spent the entire season keeping Nancy on the hook, only to reject her at the altar. Talk about a plot twist. But wait, it gets worse. Barts thought it was a great idea to discuss controversial topics like abortion in front of his family. Because nothing says I am ready for marriage like making everyone uncomfortable at family dinner, right? But Barts wasn't done yet. During the reunion, he showed zero accountability for his actions. And let's not forget how he gushed over another contestant, Raven, while engaged to Nancy. It's like he thought he was on The Bachelor instead of Love is Blind. So what do Matt, Jackie, and Barts have in common? They all managed to turn potentially good relationships into complete train wrecks. It's like they were competing for a worst partner ever trophy. Matt brought the jealousy, Jackie brought the drama, and Barts brought the indecision. Together, they formed the ultimate trifecta of terrible partners. But here's the real question. Were any of these three actually looking for love? Or were they just there for their 15 minutes of fame? Because let's be honest, they brought more drama than a soap opera marathon. Matt's controlling tendencies, Jackie's sudden switch from Marshall to Josh, and Bartes' alter rejection made for great TV, but terrible dating strategies. It's almost like they forgot the whole point of the show. Love is Blind is supposed to be about forming deep connections without seeing the other person. But Matt, Jackie, and Bartes seem more interested in stirring up drama than finding their soulmates. Alright, let's recap our Love is Blind Hall of Shame. We have got Irina and Shayna, the mean girls who turned the show into their personal drama fest. Then there's Carlton and Shake, who clearly didn't get the memo about what blind love means. And don't forget Matt, Jackie, and Bartes, our trifecta of terrible partners. So, who takes the crown for the worst Love is Blind contestant ever? Is it Irina with her high school mean girl act? Shayna and her not-so-subtle man-stealing? Carlton's big secret and even bigger tantrum? Shake's obsession with looks on a show about inner beauty? Or maybe it's Matt's jealousy, Jackie's flip-flopping, or Bartes' indecision? These folks might not have found their soulmates, but they definitely found a place in our reality TV nightmares. Thanks for the drama, guys.